Hey there, and Hero here. I'll be bringing you the RX 5300. AMD's $130 entry-level GPU has about the same performance of an RX 480 or 580. Oddly enough, even with the supposed MSRP of $130, you can only find them in pre-built PCs. In my opinion, if they managed to actually release this card, it would have been better than the RX 6500, since it performs around the same and even has hardware encoding. The Radeon RX 5300 launched on May 28, 2020, supposedly. It features 1,408 shading units, 88 texture mapping units, and 32 ROPs. The GPU is operating at a frequency of 1327 MHz, which can be boosted up to 1645, and the memory is at 1750 MHz. Probably the downside to this card that it only has 3 GB of DDR6 memory, though with a launch price of $130, I would call it fair. Even during the scalper pandemic, I bought this card for about $150, which I would honestly call a steal, especially during that time. Being a dual slot card, the AMD Radeon RX 5300 draws power from a 1x6 pin power connector with a draw rate at 100 watts maximum. Oddly enough, if rarely, it drawed over 70 watts during load. This is my temporary dedicated budget test system, which should be enough for most older and entry-level GPUs. It comes with a Ryzen 5 1600 AF on an Asus TUF B350 Plus gaming motherboard with 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM at 3200 MHz. Alrighty, let's get to those benchmarks. Few notes: during my entirety of the benchmarking of GTA 5, it ended up raining the entire time, which may or may not have affected the final results. And for Forza Horizon 5 at medium, it felt much smoother and it still looked very good. On another note, Cyberpunk's averages are just slightly higher because I kept it dying. It averaged close to the 40 FPS range. The RX 5300 is 2 years old, and in 2022, it is a decent option. I would say find this card over the RX 6500 since it performs similarly and has hardware encoding. Usually this card honestly felt like I was using the AMD equivalent of a GTX 1060 3GB. Usually playing at the same settings, not absolutely bad, but does show the limits 3GB cards. Still fine for most games and perfectly fine for esports titles. Though for more intensive games, you're probably limited to low and medium settings at 1080p. If you manage to get your hands on this card, let me know your experiences with it in the comments below. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm Hero. Like if you like, and dislike if you don't like the video or just hate me. Subscribe if you want to see more. See you next time.